my couch. I first started this couch many months ago, it seems like. Well, it was many months ago because it was warm weather. It could have been November or October. I don't know. Episode 1. Check it out. I didn't really get a lot accomplished in that one. I thought I was going to do more than I did, but all I really got cut out was the bench bottom that I'm sitting on right now. Worked on the design quite a bit and tried to figure out what I was going to do. Well, I finally have finished everything else I needed to do. This was stopping me from moving on to my plumbing because I needed to secure down that water tank, know exactly where it's going to be, which is right underneath me here. And now I can go on to plumbing. So I thought you might want to see part 2 of the finished product. The only thing missing are my cushions, and I'm going to save that for my final reveal, along some of the other tricks and things that I have done that you haven't seen. So if you watched any of my videos, you may not see a completely finished solution. Whether it's my cabinets, my roof rack, my bed, you've seen most of it, 90-95%. But the last little bit I'm saving for the final reveal of my van for everybody. I'm going to surprise myself, I think, too. So why is this couch cool? It's a little different than most. Like everything I try to do, can I go to another level with it? Is it perfect? No. It needs a little wax or something at minimum. There's probably a few little things I could tweak, and I'm sure I will over time. A little sanding. After I painted it, it seems to work a lot harder. So it's got to be, fitted. It's got to be broken in. All right, so what's going on? It's 80 inches long. Nice and long. It's 80 inches because the bed above me is 80 inches long because it's a full queen size bed. I have a backrest area. You can see I have storage in there, which is massive. It goes all the way down to the floor. Ooh, that's cold down there. Open up a vent to get some heat in there. All right, but what's really cool is this. If you look at the couch, you can see that it pulls out like most couches, and I have 3 sections across the front. Actually, here I mount 2 Lagoon table mounts brackets for that, and they stay attached to this. But here's what happens. Each one of there are 3 sections here actually, and if I'm trying to do it quietly, they pull out so that this becomes a footrest area, or a chase lounge, or whatever you want to call it. And that's how that works. So it pulls out. I now have 40 inches. I can pull that section out. I can pull the last section down there out as well. Now this slides back in, usually much easier. It's in, and it lifts up for storage. And my favorite thing is that I hinged the leg support as well, so that it is completely out of my way when I want to access my, wow, that's messy, storage box. Now this section opens up. It's all actually opens for this one piece because I don't have a storage box down here, but each leg is independent. You can see there's a lot of rubbing going on. There's my tank. My water pump goes here. My tank. I got a little bit of storage in the front of that, but I still needed to access it. So there you go. That's my couch. What I'm going to show you now is how I built it. And I think I did a pretty decent job building it with the least amount of framing and still getting a very strong box and couch. I have jumped on it and it's held. So I'm not too worried about it collapsing. Structurally, it's very rugged and it's very well secured to the floor of the vehicle, the deck. So here we go. Stay with me. We'll jump into the construction. Part 2 of my couch. Now in part 1, I cut out basically just the sliding top piece. Worked on the design thoroughly, I think, and that's where I'm at right now. So here, I'll show you. I'm sitting on the floor in my van because above me is my bed and ceiling and all that stuff's been done. And that's what I cut out. Actually, it's not. There we go. Now it looks better. So I did a 1-sheet piece of plywood. It's actually, this is a 3/4 inch Luan. Kept it nice and light. and I've cut my side pieces, which were very complex, out of 3/4 inch plywood, heavier stuff. So that wasn't complicated. So now I get to start actually framing this all in. And here's why I couldn't install this couch. Do you see over in the corner? You see my actuators for my bed from my previous video? They're built inside of my couch, both of them. This side here anyways, the other side's not. So, oh, there you go, now you can see it. So both of those are built in, and I obviously couldn't build this couch until that was all in place. It would have just been in my way. I also needed that thing right there. Can you see it? Okay, that's really close up. You're like, what's that big white thing? That is my water tank. And I will be talking about that soon, because as soon as this couch is done, I'm moving on to plumbing. That's the big plan. Let's see if I can't start cutting some wood, screwing this thing together, and see if my design actually works. So let's get going on this, right? Hold on. I'm going to turn you off for a minute and start figuring out my next step. And if I'm smart, I'll remember to turn you back on. Here we go. I got wood. All right. Here we don't laugh. This is the left side, the rear. And so I come up 4.5 inches, and then I slope back a small degree. I made this longer than I needed intentionally, so I'm going to cut off a little piece of that, trim these up, and do that to both of these. I did go and take some nice choice pine, cut it to length, the same length as my bench, which in my case is 80 inches. And because of that slope, I put a bevel on one edge of those 3 pieces. And so when it all goes together, it'll be a nice smooth transition. Won't be any odd angles and stuff. So it'll be nice and neat. That's how this is going to go, and then it's going to sit on that back bench, or that back part of those side ends, like this. And what is this piece for? My piano hinge mount. It's just 1 inch. Needed 3/4. Got a little bit more. But what that means is I've got to pre-drill and glue this together. Right. That rail goes against this rail. So pocket holes. Dry assemble this and show you kind of what I cut up, and then I'm going to keep dry assembling and cutting pieces. So I'm working on the back right now. So as you can see, took my end, drilled all my pocket holes on both my end pieces. I now have this, which goes in there. I need to swish it a little bit. So you want to know what I did? Yeah, they're at an angle, right? So those are at an angle. They match that angle of the backrest. Ledge for, I can't see my hand, a ledge here for the piano hinge. It's not much because I really wanted to maximize the depth of this so that when I pull it out, I have 40 inches of sleeping space without crowding my aisle away. So now, same thing with this piece. Pocket drilled everything, glued it together, screwed it up once. Got some extra holes I don't need. But I don't know if you can see, but that's where that goes. Pocket drilled those. I have a wider centerpiece I'm going to do. It's already drilled for pocket holes, and same thing there. So that, see if we can step back and get a better view for myself. So those are doors in between, and that's the back of the couch. I can take these pieces, try to do this one-handed with a weak grip. Set that in place. Now, what I need to do now, well, might as well do this one too. Alright, I have no idea what you guys can see. So that slides in there. And now, I have some fun to do. So the trick with this thing, very common just to see it, lift up, big deal, pull out, big deal. I like to put my legs up when I sit. I like a recliner. So I like the chaise lounge kind of thing, concept. And sure, I can lie this way and be facing out, and that's nice. But if I want to face that direction, across ways, I can't be comfortable. So I take this section here, 20 inches, and I'm going to cut this line right here all the way back. So this is independent of all of that, and this will lift up by itself so that I have access to that storage. See, I'll have access to that storage by just lifting this up or letting this slide out and you can't see it, I haven't built the front of that. And then this one will just lift by itself, one whole piece, because as a tank, there's no need to do it. But I still am going to have on this end another lounge. I'm going to cut just this piece right here. I don't have to cut all the way back because I just want to pull this middle piece out and put a cushion on it. So I don't need to, and same thing with that one. This piece, even though I cut this doesn't pull out. Neither one of these pull out. I just need it to hinge here. So that's basically it. All right. I didn't tape it, sorry. I cut the back. And I added an aluminum strip. I took out a 1x1 to lower my profile so that I'll show you. I'm just going to have that rest on top of a piece of plywood. It's going to change my design a little bit. I'm trying to minimize the framing I have inside by utilizing the box itself as much as I can for framing. Well, that's working out pretty cool. Got some great cool ideas with that. I hope, well, if I don't forget to implement them. So realized that before I can progress, I've got to start building this back piece out, the rest of it. I have to attach this bottom shelf to the back shelf, and I cut some brackets for, again, remember my bench is split, so I have to mount these in here as well. I've got 2 of these. So I've got to mount those in there as well. So I got to get that assembled before I can screw these to them, but I've just gone ahead and pre-made these little simple brackets. And that's, again, so that the bench, this side can rest here, this side can rest here, and then this one is just a strengthener. It really is, it's only intended to support the weight, to distribute that from the front to the back a little bit more so it doesn't bounce or anything like that. All right, started to assemble. Sorry, I forgot to turn you on. This was my next challenge. I just got to cut this out. I think I'll just test that. So again, if you're looking, that's what I did on the bottom. Piece of aluminum, 1 inch blocking in the back. And it's a snug fit. So this side pulls out, and it'll have a piece of wood here that'll hold that up. And I have from back to here 37.5 inches. If I want to pull out the center one, I can pull out the center one. And then I need to do this one last as well. So that seems to be working. I seem to be pretty happy with that so far. All right. I'm going to lose a lot of light there. Let's see if this will adjust. All right, so what I've done, put the Mylar down, strapped and clamped in my water tank. I did it. It's in. You ready? All right, let me show you one last little problem I need to solve. And I did. I solved it. So if you take any one of these and go to lift it up, the back piece doesn't come with it. It just doesn't. So my solution to this is this. I'm going to take one of these, screw it in between so that when this closes, it'll slide right into there and pin that together. And that should solve my problem. I hope that works. I've got 7 of these. I need 10. So, but these, believe it or not, just came out of some, typical IKEA type particle furniture, little pieces. They're going to work perfect. It's just kind of what I need. Little hidden pins, and when they're out, they're not in my way. All right, so my little pin idea actually worked. I've put it in. Here, I'll show you what I did basically. So here's my cabinet. It comes out. There's my little pins, my little holes, and if it was all put together, you just slide it in, and when you go to lift it up, it pulls the front with you. Now the back is still loose for me back here, but that's not done. And so I've done this side as well, with the idea of this side is that when I lift, no matter where I lift, I'm picking up the other end as well at the same time. So they're all pinned together right now. So not in place just yet. So I'm a little rough because I haven't got the piano hinge in or any of that. But I can now pull any one of these 3 sections out. And right now my next move is a face frame front to act as my legs, which will also have a piano hinge behind it so that when I lift up, they will fold up out of the way. So that's the next step. Oh, I hope that makes sense. I hope you could even see that. I was free-flowing here with the camera. I have no idea what you saw. May have to do it again. I got my headphones out for a reason today. That's what I'm doing. I got an opening, I want to put a door in both sides. So, I decided not to go crazy. This is 13 inches if I recess this, so what I'm going to literally do here is take my router bit and route in 1/2 inch all the way around and just a depth of some really thin luam. It's like 3/16 thick. Alright, there you go. First piece cut. It's a really snug fit, but it's kind of what I want. And hole in it. And we're going to hinge it here. So that'll be fun. I cut a little extra thick piece that'll go sit above this ridge just for the enough for the piano hinge to bite into. It's only 30 inches. This is a little 35. So overkill. Way overkill on that piano hinge. Alright. Drill the pilot hole just to get me started. Yes, that is where it goes. So this screw should just go straight in. And that centers. Now I'll move down to this end. Actually, I know better than to go all the way to the end because you'll get a ripple in this if you screw this end, this bows out, and then you're pushing it back in. So you do kind of want to work your way down with piano hinges. Ask me how I know. Ah. Perfect. All right, I'm just going to keep screwing this off, and I should be good to go. Every couple of holes here. This will take me a little while. Here's what I like. It does actually have a little give to it, which I think is perfect. It's not going to break, not going to fall through. It's going to take a really lot of effort to push through that. But with a mattress here, a cover, I like a little spring to it. It'll be nice. I'm hoping I feel that still. So there you go. On to the bottom fronts. I'm going to go to my neighbor's workshop, and we're going to assemble the frames there, and do that next. What do you think? Just like that, it's in.